I'm the community correspondent for accountingweb.co.uk, and in association with cloud accounting software firm Exact, this is the first in a series of video conversations with small businesses, accountants and industry experts about the 21st century client-accountant relationship, technology adoption and plans for the future. We'd love for viewers to get involved, so at the end of this video, please leave your comments or views and any questions you might have, and we'll endeavour to respond to them. You can also use the hashtag, so if you want to tweet about it, it's hashtag 21st century accountant.
I run an online t-shirt retailer in Bristol. We've been going 10 years, and that's about it.
I run MS Bristol, which is part of an international movement to help homeless people. But the big thing we do is we run a social enterprise. So our aim is to become self-supporting through our own work, and those who join us who've been homeless live with us and work in our business, our social business. So it's like any other business. We have all the same things, but we have the charity commission as well to deal with. So
been in the software industry for around 16 years, had my own practice for about 4 of those, sold it to a larger vendor, and helping Exact into the UK market and supporting SMEs and accounting practices.
They're very good at doing the historical stuff, but actually what most of us need to know is what the future looks like, and it's about business planning. Actually, I think it's more relevant. I had some time with a law firm, and I was there as their sort of business director, and I think one of the things I try to bring there is actually, let's look at the future. Let's look at where we're trying to be. I mean, you do need the historical stuff because you've got to produce accounts for what we have to do for the charity commission and the company's house and all the rest of it, and any bank managers who want to see us. But I think a much more proactive approach, I think, is really important, and a more creative. I think we need to see accountants more creative. They're not very creative as a group, and the ones that are creative usually find themselves doing some very interesting work. Particularly in the charitable sector, many CEOs have got financial background, and some are qualified accountants. So, I think that's where they're going in the accounting section. They're usually not just accountants. They've got a lot more to them. They've got a lot more creativity. 4 or 5 years ago, we had a wonderful chap who used to look after us from a major accountancy firm.
He would pop in for a cup of tea every couple of months. We sell t-shirts. He'd sit in our boardroom and say, "Oh, I was on your website yesterday, and I think, I love this design, but I think it should be in red," or something like that. Now, he had a crap taste in t-shirts, but he actually cared about what we did, and he was interested in the business. And I found that really, really great that we had someone who not only looked at our numbers and figures, but looked at the business as a whole and everything we did, and tried to offer advice outside of his remit, which was fantastic. He left the company, and we were the same accountant for another couple of weeks, and they literally contact us on a must be a recurring annual calendar reminder to tell us that our accounts are due at company's house. And we're not talking about a few £100 a year, we're talking about a few £1,000 a year. And for that, I would expect a better service.
Goes back to again some research that we did about accountants and SMEs, and what the accountants perceived SMEs and their clients to have a very small revenue growth this coming year, though accounting firms themselves expected to grow quite strongly, and part of the way they were going to grow is by selling more of their products and services into their existing customer base. So it's very relevant to understand also the comments that both Pat and Richard have made, is saying that they need to be proactive. So it's not just about number crunching, and to be honest, that's not really in essence what SMEs are looking for. They're looking for an internal partner who just happens to be an external supplier.
Accountants are our auditors, and we put them out to competitive tender. And our accountants, who are Mazars, who are very good actually, won. And we've been with them probably for, I don't know, probably about 11 years. And what I like about them, it's not an advert for them, but what I do like about them is I've got any problem at all during the year, I could just pick the phone up to our manager there, and she's straight back, and she was very helpful recently when we had an issue we had to deal with, and they don't charge us for that. I mean, we get the annual bill, which is several thousand, but I don't feel that they're clock watching. They'll come back to me if it's a specific task. Then of course they will. We will agree a fee on it. But for just general advice during the year, they're there for us, and that's what I really like about them. I feel secure with them, so that's good.
Personal relationship was really beneficial to us, and the new accountants that we're going to start using soon, again, the same reasons. They seem to be able to prove experience with similar clients, which is always helpful. But really, it was I think geographically someone nice and close. So if you do need to go and drop an envelope full of documents to them, it's not too much hassle. Also means they'll pop in and see you and say hello every now and then. So yeah, it really is, for me, it's that personal relationship. You know, if I'm spending a lot of money, I want to smile at the end of it.
We offered a number of added value services. Well, what we did start to move into quite aggressively was also consulting on products they already had in place and that they were struggling with, because those products were selected and they were chosen by recommendations from their accountant. Then some of those relationships broke down, but they were still happy with the software, so they would come to someone where they had a continued relationship or wanted to build a new relationship with someone that they got along with, that had their interests in mind, and for us to continue supporting them on those tools. So certainly lots of different value-added services which have matured significantly.
Well, they provide a whole range of services, you know, the tax specialisms, and they do planning and all the rest of it. I think most of the time we don't need it. However, when we do need some, I think we needed some advice recently, and just being there, quite frankly, is what we want. I think most clients want to feel as though they're being treated like an individual. I think it's when, and I used to be an auditor, by the way, when you're not treated like an individual, or like you mean something, then actually that's when the whole thing falls apart.
Focus on the old accountants, but the new accountants have made us aware of all the services available to us. However, again, we're very straightforward. We've been offered previously tax advice, or to define it a little bit better, once they came and told us it's tax dodging, and I didn't really like the feel of it, and I was actually quite surprised that a major accountancy firm could offer, you know, things to us that had been in the press very negatively. In fact, the same month that we were being offered it, and for a sizable fee as well, and a very complex procedure. That wasn't of interest to us, but you know, the business advice really is great for us. And again, touching on what I said before, if someone can come in and say, right, you know, you sell T-shirts online, well, I deal with John down the road who sells jeans on a market stall, but what you've got in common is, you know, when you sell kids' clothes, it's VAT free or something like that. You know, where they can, you know, show what other similar businesses have been doing. For me, that's golden. That's key for relationships.